Hi guys, welcome to the webinar wherein we are going to talk about today things that you should know to clear CPA in one shot. Now, the points that I am going to share with you is not something that you haven't heard before, but our goal is to crack that exam in just one single shot, and for that there are certain things, there are certain points which we have to keep in mind to do the same, right? Let's get started, guys. We'll go with FAR. So FAR, as you might be aware, that these are 5 different testlets, 66 MCQs and 8 task-based simulations that you have to do. Now, I am sure that you know that this is the most voluminous subject that you have, right? And some people might find this far quite difficult. But let's see what are some points wherein you can be aware of, where you can consider, be careful about these pointers so that you are on a right track to clear this FAR exam. The first point is give yourself enough time. Now, it happens a lot of time, it will happen that you'll open the FAR book, you'll go through the text, and you'll find that, oh my god, so much. And somewhere we start panicking, right? And you don't have to do that. You don't have to feel every time that I have to complete this quickly. Let me go through the material very, very quickly. Let me go through the questions very, very quickly to complete such a huge chapter or such a huge subject for that matter. Do not do that. Prepare a schedule. Give yourself enough time. Don't be under stress to run through the course. Alright, so take some time. It's okay. I understand it's voluminous, but give yourself time. You're only human after all, right? Second, do not cram up, but understand the concepts. Having trained a lot of students now with CPA and some other professional qualifications for that matter as well, what I have observed is that a lot of students try to cram up the formulas. A lot of students try to cram up the journal entries. Don't do that, guys. Because what will happen in exam, if there is a slight twist in the question, then you will stumble upon it. You'll struggle to think, oh, what did I cram up? Did I cram up right? Why am I not able to solve this? But if you have understood the concept well, then you would be able to solve that question. Right? So absolutely no cramming up required. Go beyond the formulas. Ask why. Whoever is your instructor, ask why beyond the things. Do not cram up. And if they tell you to cram up, please do not do that. It's not just a short-term goal you have to look at. We have to look at our career life ahead. You don't want a situation wherein you just clear the exam and you know nothing when you are out in the field. Right? Then, know the journal entries. For this FAR exam, journal entries are very, very important. And, a lot of concepts also get cleared while doing the journal entries, and it's the vice versa also. If you know the concept well, you will not struggle in journal entries, and you will be amazed to see how a lot of questions in your exam you can pass them, you can get to the correct answer just by making journal entries, right? So journal entries are very, very important. Simulations are very, very important. You know that you have practical case studies as part of your simulations as well. Sometimes what happens, people think that, okay, it's simulations, let me just cover the material, let me just cover the course, and I'll come to simulations later, or even if I'm not able to do simulations, that would work. No, that will not work. You don't want a situation wherein you see something in the exam that you haven't worked on before. So simulations are a very, very important part of your exams, guys. Do not miss practicing the simulations. Do not leave practicing the simulations. Then, no. Then fifth point, NPO and government accounting. You know that the last two coverage of your FAR material is not for profit organizations and accounting for government entities, right? So you have to learn normal accounting standards also, then you have to learn government accounting standards also. And that's entirely a different set of segment that we're catering to. So it's very, very common to find these two topics difficult. It's very, very natural to get overwhelmed with these two topics, but know that once you cover these two topics, these are easy marks in your examination, right? And how will you cover these? If you find it challenging, if you find it overwhelming, take it slow. The only key to solve or only key to prepare for NPO and government accounting is when you take it slow, guys. Because this is something you haven't worked on before. You don't know how NPO accounting happens. You don't know what is contribution, what is the asset transfers. And similarly in government, you are not aware about the fund accounting, right? So that's where you have to go slow. And once you cover that, it's easy marks on your exam. So that you can be relieved about. Last point is practice a lot. You have to do a lot of MCQs. Practice a lot. Make a timetable, guys. Stick to that timetable. And most important, limit social media, guys. We are living in an era wherein it's very, very easy to get into the trap of that Instagram. A lot of people I have seen doing mindless scrolling, wasting their time looking at the reels. Fine, guys. Instagram is not running away, but your time is. It won't come back. You can always look at Instagram, Snapchats, whatever social media you are doing. You can always come back to it after your exam. Right? So for FAR, you have to do a lot of MCQs. You have to stick to a timetable, guys. It's serious business we're talking here. It's not a joke, right? So this is FAR, guys. This is the first exam paper, FAR. The second exam paper that we are going to talk about is audit. And audit, as you know, it is entirely theoretical. 5 testlets, 66 MCQs, 8 task-based simulations to be covered. So let's talk about the first point. Do not try to cram up everything, guys. You cannot do that. Do not try to cram up everything. Think like an auditor, right? So it is not required to cram up. I know a lot of people tell you that audit is, oh my god, it's audit, just cram up everything. You have to remember everything. Fine, you have to know the concept, but if you think like an auditor, if you put yourselves in the shoes of an auditor, you will find the difference. You will feel the difference yourself, that now you don't have to cram it up, right? So if you think like an auditor, you will get to the correct answer. That is the first point. Second, you are gonna use flowcharts and infographics for better retention. Always make it a habit. Since it is theory, you have to prepare your notes. You have to prepare flowcharts. If you've handled the class with me, you know that the kind of approach I take, I use a lot of flowcharts and infographics for explaining audit, because that, when you have a visual kind of a thing on your screen, that gives you a better retention of the concept, right? So you have to use flowcharts and infographics for better retention. That is absolutely mandatory, guys. Then third, now sometimes you will find in the audit exam that questions will be quite twisted. It's easy to get lost in the question when you're talking about audit. And how to tackle this? The only way is to practice a lot of MCQs, guys. You need to practice a lot of MCQs to ace this exam, right? Again, it's CPA, guys. You have to practice. And let's take a situation that you get a question in front of you in that audit exam, and now you are confused. So the best approach in that confusion you can take is, we have 4 options. which will be there in front of you. Now, if you look through the options carefully, it's easy to eliminate incorrect answers. If you don't think that you can get to the correct answer, follow the opposite approach. Eliminate those options which you think are not suitable to the scenario. Use the elimination approach. Right? So what happens if there are 4 options? Easily you can eliminate 2 of them. So now you are left with 2 options. You will have 50% probability now to get to the correct answer. Do not leave a question blank. If you are still not if you're still not comfortable, if you're still confused as to which is the correct option that you have to select, take a guess. Yes, you heard that right. Take a guess. Only in case wherein you are confused, you are not able to get to the correct answer. In that case only take a guess, because now you still have a 50% chance of doing it correctly. And you don't have any negative marking. So it's fine. Right? So if you are confused, use that elimination approach, but do not leave a question blank. One very, very important tip that I give this to all my students is, guys, you have to stay within the scenario. Sometimes what will happen that once you get that scenario, once you get a question, it's very easy to think in our mind that, okay, I will be doing this should have happened. Fine, but is it what the question is asking? It might happen that question is asking you the very first step that you will take, and you are already on the last step, that okay, I will modify the report. Fine, but what is the first step is what the question is asking you. So always stay within the scenario. As per the given scenario, out of the options, which one do you think is most suitable, most appropriate to that scenario? You have to pick that up. All right. Yeah. And of course, in audit, you need to use common sense, guys. You will be amazed at how the questions will be solved. You can solve a lot of questions if you keep your common sense intact. It's audit. Right? It's not difficult to get to the correct answer. The only thing you need is careful reading. Let's move on to BEC. Now, BEC is 5 testlets, 62 MCQs, 4 task-based simulations, and 3 written communication that will be asked. Right? So either you might be required to write an email or a memo kind of a thing. Right? This is just to check your communication skills. Now, BEC is relatively easier. Now, please, I am stressing upon 2 words here, relatively easier. I'm not saying it's easy, but if I look at the other 3 subjects, this is relatively easier. So very first point is, you do not underestimate this exam. I have seen a lot of people underestimating BECs, thinking that, oh, that's easy. Let me give it a quick read only. No. Then they struggle in the exam. So you need not underestimate this exam, please. Polish your writing skills, very important. Now you have 3 written communication tasks. You have to polish your writing skills. How will you do that? You need to read. You need to read books, read papers, do practice in your softwares, whatever the softwares you will be getting, whatever your software you will be subscribing to, it will have the task-based simulations. Also, it will have written communication tasks for your BEC. Right? So you need to polish those writing skills. Then, each section is important. So BEC, if I can tell you, as of now, right, till 2024, we all know that there is a discussion going on that the syllabus is going to change from 2024 onwards. Now that is something else, we'll discuss somewhere else. But as of now in BEC, what's happening? BEC is a culmination of 5 different things. First is your internal controls. Then you have your economics. Then you have information technology. Then you have financial management. Then you have your cost accounting or operational research. Right? So this 5 different things are clubbed together into this BEC exam. So it's very natural to say that, okay, I'll leave economics, let me do all other things. But no, you can't do that. Right? Each section is very, very important in this exam. Do not think you know economics already. Now it's very natural to find that okay, it's demand, it's supply, it's elasticity. I know about it. Let me not give it, let me not do a detailed study on that. That's very wrong, right? So if you think that you know economics already, just try to look at the course. There is definitely something you do not know about it, and even if you know, you have to practice. You never know what kind of question comes in the exam, so you have to do a lot of practice, guys. Do not just cram up the formulas for financial management or costing. It's very simple to just cram up that okay, how is valuation computed, how is equivalent units computed in costing. Let me just cram it up. Do not do that, guys. If you do that, again, I have discussed this in previously also, that do not cram it up. Why? Because in the exam, if there is a twist, what will you do if you do not know how to adjust this? If you are not aware about the concept, that is where you'll struggle. But if you are aware about the concept, you'll handle that twist easily. So you do not just cram up the formulas. Do not focus less on risks and internal controls. They are very important. Yes, it is theory. Yes, your flowcharts will come into the picture. Now, yes, your noting, highlightings, markings will come into the picture. But whatever you do, you cannot simply miss this. This is very important for your exam. All right. So that was the third one, BEC, guys. Moving on to the last one, regulation. 5 testlets, 76 MCQs, 8 task-based simulations. Regulation, is a combination of laws and taxation. So number one, do not try to read regulation in one go. It's very natural that we'll feel, okay, let me just go quickly, on laws, and then let me start with taxation, and I'll do it everything in one go. Please do not do that. Take time, break it down into sections. If you are covering law, stick to law, fine. Then also divide it into different chapters. Do not try to do this regulation in one go, or else you will get easily overwhelmed with the kind of stuff you'll see. It's not difficult, but it's not that simple that you can manage it in just one go, right? Now the key to solve this is in fact common for all the pointers, that you have to be regular. And if we're talking about laws or taxation, there might be some typical taxation adjustments that you will see. Now what we do is we read it once, twice, and then we think that we've done. Then we pick it up after a week and we find that we've forgotten it. So the key to retain the concepts better is to be regular. Read some portion every day, so that every time it is in the front of your brain, it doesn't take a back seat. So read some portion every day, guys. Make notes, flowcharts for better retention. Make notes, make flowcharts for taxation adjustments that you are going to see. Right? Practice, and a lot of practice is a key to solve regulation, guys. And of course, it is so if you are thinking that okay, it's a culmination of law and taxation, then I'll do law. I'm not liking taxation a bit. That is wrong. You can't pass this exam without taxation. So you like it or you don't like it, but you have to do it. Right? So taxation is extremely important, guys. Make a separate notebook for all important formulas and concepts, very important, and you have to visit it on a regular basis. Once you keep reading, once you make a separate notebook for all the formulas, and once you keep reading those, every time it will happen that your memory will be refreshed. So you will never ever forget it. Alright, so that was regulation. So 4 chapters done, 4 exam subjects done. Now, let me tell you some points which are general, which are common. The very first is that do not spend too much time on one question. Ouch, what did I say? I just said that in your exam, there will be times, there will be questions wherein you'll struggle. And I am not here to give you a very rosy kind of a picture that no, you'll do, there will be very easy, exam will be very easy. That is not my motive. I don't sugarcoat the things. I'll tell you an honest opinion. I will be very transparent with you because your benefit is what I am seeking. right? So there will be questions in the exam where you will struggle. That's very natural. And what happens if we are struggling onto a question, we don't realize that we get stuck on that question. We keep thinking, and what is happening? The clock is ticking. We're losing out on time. So then what will you do? If I feel that there is a question I'm not able to answer, and it will take me at least 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes to solve this question, use the flag. What is a flag? So in the software where you will be required to give your exam, there is a flag on top. You can mark it for review. So what will happen once you complete the exam? Whatever flags you have highlighted, whatever questions you have flagged, you can revisit those questions. But use it wisely, guys. It should not happen that every question you're marking as a flag only. That won't solve the purpose, right? So do not spend too much time on one question, guys. It's a lot of the things, as you have seen, we have to cover. Second is limit your social media. This we have already discussed. Do not compare your progress with anyone. It's very common that we have friends also who are doing CPA. So in that friend circle, what happens generally, we have a discussion that okay, I have done this much of the course, you have done this much of the course. So it's very natural to feel panicked at some time, to feel that panic, to feel that fire, that oh, you have done so much, I haven't even started. Oh, this person has already covered this. Now what will I do? Do not indulge in these practices. Go as per your schedule. You know yourself the best. Everyone has a different nature to study. Some people might be very quick, some people might be very slow, and that's absolutely fine. The end goal is to not win that race. The net goal is to clear the exam. You are not in a race that you have to cover the course faster than your friend. We are not in a race here, guys. We all have to pass that exam. So it's absolutely fine. If you go as per your speed, no problem at all. Make a study plan, guys, and stick to it no matter what. Do not let anything disturb your study sessions unless it's absolutely essential. Right? So make a study plan, guys. You know yourself the best. If you are a morning person or if you are a night person, make a plan accordingly. Mock exams, very important. You have to sit in a time simulated environment. Before going into the actual exam, sitting there for 4 hours non-stop, you have to practice on your PC. You have to practice at home. Close all the doors, confine yourselves at one place in one room, put that clock on and do your mock exam. This will tell you your speed, this will tell you your points that you have to focus on, this will tell you how are you currently performing and what more is required. Right, I get a lot of questions from students saying that I am not able to perform well in mock exams and they get panicked. It's good. If you perform well in mock exams, that is where I'm scared. If you are not performing well in mock exams, it's now how on what topics you have to focus. Right? That is good. Now you won't make those mistakes again in your exam. Right? You'll get to know the concepts in a better manner. Right? So mock exams is entirely must. All right. Do not underestimate any topic, guys. Every topic holds a lot of weightage. Every topic has its own weightage. Do not underestimate any topic. And one final point that we all know, that in simulations, you have access to entire authoritative literature. Yes, you heard that right. You have the literature available there wherein you can refer anything. It's like an open book test. Everything is available, but do not try to use it much. In research type of questions, of course, it is required. But let's say you are doing an impairment question. I would suggest you to remember how do you calculate impairment, rather than going to the authoritative literature to find that formula. Why? Because you're going to that literature, you're trying to find the formula for impairment. You are in turn wasting a lot of time. So use authoritative literature when you have the time, when you think it's absolutely essential for you to answer it correctly. But if you ask me, I would not advise to use it very much, because you are losing out on time, guys. All right, with this, I hope these pointers will help you pass the exam in one shot. That's your goal, that is my goal. I would like to see you successful no matter what. So if you think that these kind of videos are important, I should make more of them, please hit like, drop in your comments below. I am really looking forward to reading all your comments. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining in, and I wish you all the very best.